I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar. Hello, this is Tammy Taylor, your Manifestation Muse, welcoming you to your Aquarius New Moon reading. This is all planets go time. Important time for you, important time for me. The planets have been retrograde for most of 2018, and now finally there's a thrust toward what we are seeding this year for 2020. Now, before we get into all of that, the reason why the Aquarius new moon is so important all the time, even when planets are retrograde, but now we have all direct, so it's even that much more important, right? Aquarius new moon is all about sharing what we came into the world to share with it. It is such a huge energy that supports our purpose for incarnation. It, in fact, really does buoy our dharma, our energy that connects us to others, that gifting that we have through that energy of Aquarius. Now, of course, here we talk about the Western moon signs as they relate to our emotions, our ego, the solar energy, the earth-centric astrology of the tropical Western perspective. And that is the aspect of ourselves that is reactionary. It's our conscious thoughts for the most part for those of us who are in tune with Great Mother Speaks, but for other people it may be a very, very unconscious process. Here, when we talk about unconscious process, we're using the Vedic astrology, the lunar astrology. It is moon-centric. It is cosmologically oriented, and it is the soul astrology. The Vedic astrology is karmic. It is based on what the soul purpose is. It is not limited to North Node, South Node, or 12th house. It is the entire chart laying out what the soul came here to do and how it came here to do it. Now, of course, both birth charts are defaults. We do have the power, because we're spiritual beings, of free will choice. Once our conscious awareness of who we are is activated, and here we know that we are first and foremost dearly loved divine children of the Great Mother, Father God. That's who we are, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. We're never judged or condemned. There are consequences for our actions. That is karma. And we're never left alone. Our angels, guides, and ancestors are always with us, guiding us, protecting us, helping us to stay in alignment with that dharma, helping us to work out that karma in loving, joyful ways as much as we can stand, as much as we can receive. And so we are here to receive our divine identity. As this channel is designed, it has come forth through the inspiration of Great Mother to speak directly to her children most alienated and estranged from her unconditional love due to our birth mother experience. And my area of life coaching is the specialization of what I coined mama drama trauma. It is a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. Now, in cases where the mother is unable, unwilling, or unavailable to heal her own mama drama trauma, because it is a cycle, it is a pathology, it is a family cycle. She is unable to break it, unwilling, or
unavailable. She may have transitioned into another life, She may just not be available for other reasons, addictions, all of these other symptoms of mama drama trauma associated with this dis-ease. It's a planetary disorder. And when we do not have that bond to support our own healing through her or through other maternal figures, we learn to live in loving detachment. Now, that's a difficult thing to do, and it is something that is only achieved, to my knowledge, by going through the dark night of the soul, which is why Dorothy is our narrator, our narration, our narrative that we use here to illustrate what that dark night of the soul journey is along that yellow brick road and ultimately through the dark forest, which leads her back home by reclaiming her power, taking that broom, that phallic symbol back that Great Father symbolized by Oz told her she would have to do for herself. Now, the three, the scarecrow, the lion, and the tin man, those in our family, those in our lives, in our environment, our neighbors, our friends, our co-workers, in our world are but reflections of us, aren't they, along our yellow brick road? And Aquarius invites us to look very closely at who our mirrors are in our lives at this time, to give us the downloads that we need in order to clearly move forward along our road, along our life's purpose, so that we can share what we have to give, as Dorothy did with the three. Even in her weakness, she was able to share, even if it was just her journey, because it was something that would add something unto them. They all needed help. And don't we on the planet? We all need help. A huge issue that is coming to the fore universally right now is the environment. And the environment is a variant energy of Great Mother Gaia. A healthy planet, though, necessitates a healthy inner world, which is why Great Mother energy is coming forward so powerfully at this time with Cancer in the North Node. At this time of this reading, Cancer is where Rahu is in the Vedic astrology as well. Vedic astrology precedes Western astrology by 26 degrees. And so this is a very fortuitous time for connecting with that inner love, that inner wisdom. Because in the Vedic astrology, in April, end of March, April, the energy will be shifting into North Node Gemini, South Node Sagittarius, and we will continue on with it for the duration of this nodal transit. So, if a healthy planet necessitates a healthy inner world, then a healthy perception of the world outer, the Aquarian energy that's coming forth, ruled by Uranus and the Western, the innovation, the creativity, it's beyond creativity, it's inventiveness. It's that spark of eureka that comes from the soul. If that is to be fully healthy and integrated, our inner world, what that energy is, that Capricorn energy is, beside it is also important. Sidereal soul sign. And right now, that Capricorn energy is hosting the South Node, or K2 at this time, the release position of this nodal transit. It's time to let go. And hasn't Great Mother set us up for this huge let go at this time with the eclipses that have marked both of our new moon readings since the beginning of this year, with a partial solar eclipse for the new moon reading in January and the full moon reading a total lunar eclipse. So are you ready for your Aquarius new moon reading? Capricorn in the sidereal. I hope you are. because these eclipses have set us up for the innovation that we're ready for, that we need at this particular time. Remember, full moon readings that you just had were and are about the climax of the lunar cycle. So the lunar cycle has already climaxed with that total lunar eclipse. We have now come down decrescendo to this balsamic new moon period where the downloads have come from your Vedic moon sign, and you have a sense of how to realign, reassess your new moon intentions moving forward, and to ask from your ego mind, your emotional mind, to align with it through these new moon wishes, your aspirations going forward. So enjoy your readings. Hello, Gemini moon sign people. This is a real-time present reading, so I hope you're getting it around the time it's uploaded. Balsamic moon, new moon period. Great Mother speaks to the present, the 2.5 day period within a sign is highlighted during the new moon. This is Capricorn, Aquarius, new moon, Capricorn in the Vedic. And full moon, we're going to have a Virgo full moon in the Western, Leo in the Vedic. And so those are periods of course, planting and climax. I know many people refer to the full moon as completion, but it's not with Great Mother Speaks. It's the climax of the growing period. There is a contraction after that with the waning moon, but it is a contraction that leads to an extraction during the third quarter moon with Great Mother coming into the balsamic. So I hope you're able to listen to it beforehand, because that's the download period, balsamic moon. That's what I'm saying. The essence comes out of what the soul is saying to us. That's that Vedic moon sign. We download our intuition from our higher mind, heart chakra above. And that's a discipline to download for most. Those of us who have mama drama trauma, it's something that we've developed over a period of time, or a lifetime. In fact, many of us are in fact intuitives, sympaths, empaths, etc., as a result of a need to self-soothe and self-protect. So it may be a sense of hypersensitivity, not necessarily with all signs, but there is an ability of that with Gemini, Taurus, and the Vedic moon signs. And it is because Taurus, when we're talking about Vedic astrology, is ruled by the heart chakra. That is the crossroads of the ego and the soul. And we have here what's bringing up this new moon message from Great Mother for you is Gemini. It's a heart chakra, third quarter moon card. It's about this crossroads in your life happening at this particular time, to do with a need to surrender yourself to your heart knowing. There's a deep soul knowing that you have at this time that is from lifetimes and lifetimes of wisdom around your spirituality, around what you call your inner dialogue with spirit. It's undergoing some soul shifting changes at this time with this new moon in your ninth house. It's undergoing a real sense of re-education, reaffirmation with third quarter energy, with first quarter rather energy. First quarter moon is about taking actions based on a decision to face a challenge. And the challenge that I can see with your significator card is Moses. Moses is the center of your spread here. And this is what Great Mother is saying is the inner work that you need at this time. You need to learn how to live the law. So, learning and living the law, relearning, ninth house energy, you have this here with the moon and Mercury conjunct Capricorn Aquarius. This is ninth house energy about you changing, switching up your connection with the guru within you, which ultimately determines how you connect with that outer confirmation of that inner knowing. Now, Moses, of course, led his people out of captivity into the promised land, out of Egypt into Israel. This was a promised land. It did not exist except as a figment of their imagination. They had been slaves for generations in Egypt. And what we have here is gut chakra energy ruled by Mars, which rules Aries and Scorpio in the traditional. That's saying, I'm in Aries right now with Uranus, with the switch up king of the cosmos, with the one whose duty and job it is to point me back to the North Star when I lose my way on the nodal path. And so North Node is where the soul is going, or the collective consciousness. Right now, the North Node for both Western and Vedic is Cancer, South Node Capricorn. That South Node is off the chain right now. But this significator card with the gut chakra, Aries is hosting Uranus and Mars in Aries. But when we're talking about chakras, we're talking about the sidereal. And so that's in Pisces. So there's this desire that you're having to relearn, to align with your higher knowing. Gut chakra is heart below energy. Heart chakra below energy is instinct, is ego, it's the emotion, it's your Gemini moon sign, it's the Western astrology. Heart above is heart chakra, Yemiya, that's wanting, that's bringing all of this up to surrender how it's been connecting to the guru within, is showing us that there's this desire to do that. Because where is the South Node but in your eighth house? I mean, that's change, that's rebirth, that's regeneration, that's dealing with secrets, things that have been brushed under the rug. This is the time to pull all of those things out into the light with both of these first quarter moon cards, Gemini moon sign people. It's facing the challenge of cleaning up your spiritual house. Because what's in the shadows is that there may be a sense that that's what's needing to happen, or you may be within the throes of that right now, very deeply, many of you. And with this third quarter moon, which is the release card, the contraction card of Akhenaten, is yang energy. It's this active energy. So you may be, in other words, feeling a lot of active energy that you really don't know where it's coming from, but it is to kind of urge you to in that direction of kind of shaking up your inner world through the law of mystery and divine order. It's all working out. It's all working out, and it needs to be shaken out so that you'll have the clarity that you need to move forward with the energies that are supporting you at this time. Gemini moon sign people. The south node of release with this eighth house is this Pluto, this Saturn conjunction here that's going on. You know, it's Sagittarius in the sidereal, okay? And so it's from your soul, it's giving you from this Taurus situation, this eighth house energy that's saying, look, we've got this, just receive and allow yourself to surrender to this process. Because what you want to do is acknowledge that the process is going on first and foremost. It's the acknowledge card in the position of what you want. And when we speak of our wants, of course, we're talking about our ego. When Great Mother speaks of the ego, of course, she's talking about a divine entity that you have chosen to incarnate as and to operate through, okay, to animate your spirit through. And the ego body, who you call yourself to be, wants to acknowledge that you are on a journey that others may not understand. We see Dorothy here just arriving from clicking her heels 3 times back into the black and white world of the farm from the Technicolor yellow brick road. And Aunt Em's looking at her like, yeah, you just been laying here the whole time. I know. And so what you want, some of you, is for Aunt Em to understand and to hear you. Others, what you want is to be able to lovingly detach from that desire. You don't want them to understand you so much anymore because it's too taxing. It's too tiring. It's too disappointing to always expect people to understand where you're coming from or where you came from, so that they can be in agreement. Why? The people approval seeking behaviors that are cultivated through MDT. It's a survival mechanism. We either go from one extreme or another to self-soothe and to self-protect. The extremity is people-pleasing. If we're in a combative situation or we're modeling our behavior after a mother who does that to protect herself, remember MDT is a cycle, or we do it, again, depending on our cosmic calculus, our moon sign, it may be a reaction in the reverse. We become very aggressive and very bullying towards her and others, or again, modeling our behavior after her if she has reacted to her MDT in that way. Becoming conscious of these things is acknowledgement. That's what you want. That is what your desire emotionally. You may be feeling that there's something that I'm missing. And bringing that into focus is going to allow you to access your angels, your guides, and your ancestors on a deeper level with this Uranus energy so active in your 11th house. It's going to allow you to connect to them in the physical world through your friends, through your associations, and experience that support. What's going to support you further is Sheila Nagig. Sheila Nagig is heart chakra, waning gibbous energy. Now we know that Taurus, your Vedic moon sign, is ruled by the heart chakra, which also rules Libra. This energy is very supportive in you expanding your heart chakra, opening yourself up to even heartbreak that might need to occur as you surrender your old ways. We often hear opening up the heart chakra, open up the heart chakra. All this is such a beautiful process, and it truly is at the end of the day. But the actual process of it can be excruciating because it is a breaking of the heart. It is allowing ourselves to learn and live the law, which is that gut chakra aligning with that third eye. It is allowing ourselves to live through the aspiration of being in loving detachment from situations that would normally trigger us. And so what the Sheila Nagig card is saying, as the lion was jumping out of Oz's window when he was told what he had to do to receive his courage, the courage that you may be seeking or that you're needing to do that at this particular time is something that you are going to work out as you walk the process out, just as the lion did. Now, if this sounds a little nebulous to you, then it might be because Jupiter is in your 7th house right now, and it is in Sagittarius, Scorpio in the Vedic. This is important because when we are overly connected to our professional personal connections, when we are a little bit too involved in establishing new agreements, new contracts to do things in our lives with people, connected with people, we can lose that sense of self. And that's why that true sense of self, that is that guiding um sense of, okay, this is what I'm about, this is what is important to me, this is what inspires my existence type of energy. We can kind of lose that because we're constantly melding and melting with someone else. And Jupiter is just going to expand that melding and melting. And so that's why it might sound a little nebulous, but this openness is going to support you acknowledging where those connections aren't happening, where people aren't seeing where you're coming from in your personal and professional relationships, where you do just need to surrender and say, okay, this is the extent to which they can go to get me, or I can go to connect with them, and that's okay. Next, it's important for me to live the law of ego soul alignment, and that's my priority, to stay connected with that, because the mystery of law and divine order is going to get me to where I'm going. The status of your ego soul alignment is Nefertiti. It is that you are owning your beauty, that heart above energy, that throat chakra energy that speaks your gifts, skills, and talents to the world, that owns them in a waning gibbous moon kind of way. After that full moon is what? It's contraction. It's when things tighten up and stuff starts to be squeezed out of that fullness. You start to get the nectar starts to come. And that's where we have the association with sharing with and thanksgiving from that full moon. You start to get a little darkness coming down on it. Why? Because we're pulling out the nectar from that full moon, from that climax. And that's your beauty. That is where your ego soul connection is right now. You are at a place where you're saying, hey, this is what I'm really about. This is what's really important to me. That deep ninth house inner travel that's going on now during this new moon phase, conjunct Mercury, the downloads that you're getting, boy, are really setting you straight. And just as we see Dorothy presenting the broom to Oz as she was instructed to do to go home, you too have taken your power back in so many areas of your life. It's just that there are more areas yet to go in order for you to fully be back at home, as we see Dorothy had just a little bit more to go after she presented the broom, didn't she? We see here why your soul wants to do this work. It's the rebirth card. Because when she did finally arrive home, she was surrounded by those loved ones, those personal relationships that she had poured herself into, melded and melted herself into before running away from home. Okay. Now, this scene is when she is explaining to them what has happened to her on her yellow brick road journey, and they are affectionately, lovingly, and some would say kind of patronizingly looking and listening to her. This card of divine expression is exactly that. It is a fifth chakra. As you can see, the top of that balsamic crescent there, moon card. She is communicating herself, whether they understand her or not, whether they are connecting with her or not. This is why your soul wants to do this work right now, Gemini moon sign people. It's important for that to be your focus right now, not in a way that is making others wrong. As you see Dorothy here, she's not making others wrong. She does see, and you can look at her, and she becomes kind of contracting herself, her body a little bit, knowing that she's not being fully received, but she's speaking her truth anyway, so that she's airing her atmosphere, airing her aura with her truth. This is very important for you, Gemini moon sign people, to have this vibrational frequency generated through this strong Vedic Taurus energy that will ground you in your new sense of spiritual being. Okay, you want to speak it lovingly to yourself and to others. You're being really supported in this rebirthing process beautifully with Venus conjunct the South Node at this time to do that, with Pluto, which is transformation and birth, and Saturn sitting right there, the karmic judge, letting us know it's time to do this rebirth right now. How it wants to do the rebirth is with integrity. And so you're right on it. Integrity is not just telling the truth, it's telling ourselves the truth. And isn't that what Dorothy's doing with this rebirth situation in divine expression? This is the eternal grace and mercy that is spoken of in the New Testament through the Christ consciousness. This is all about the red letters in the Bible, as I like to call them, the New Thought message. And this heart chakra balsamic moon card is about downloading that truth from your soul so that you can communicate it in loving ways just as you receive it. That's why that Sheila Nagid card opening is so important, just to let that heart open up to that love. Just let it expand so you can receive it and share it from that full moon. As we come up to the full moon over the next couple of weeks, Gemini moon sign people, you're going to see these seedlings come forward as a real understanding of who you are and what your truth is really about. Because this is occurring in the nakshatra of Shravana, it is all about you listening and paying attention. Fifth chakra is not just speaking, it is also listening. You can always remember it is akin to the to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. Fifth chakra, ear, nose, and throat. It's what you smell, it's olfactory, and it is what we listen to, not just hear auditory vibrations, but listen to the meanings of things. And by listening, you're going to be able to, through this nakshatra, communicate in ways that you haven't before. In other words, connect in ways that you haven't before. First of all, listening by living the law to your intuition, and then by listening to what others really need to hear and know from you. By doing this inner work of opening up, that is supporting your acknowledgement of the truth, of the connections and where there are breakdowns, surrendering to this law of mystery and divine order, your most likely outcome by the full moon will be Maya, a new moon, third eye card. There will be a new inner clarity. New moon is darkness, physical darkness, inner light. Full moon is outer light, inner excavation. Okay, so this outcome of illusion is when Toto pulls the curtain on Oz and reveals that he is only a man. You're going to see the truth of the situation that is currently in question at this time. This situation is going to bring about a rebirth of yourself, a renewal of yourself based on this new truth that you have consciously initiated, undergoing in order to see with greater clarity, balance, and confirmation. This new truth will be supported by new moon wishes that will have a humanitarian attitude associated with this Aquarius energy. Wishes are based on Western astrology. They're based on the emotion. They're based on, with Great Mother Speaks, having downloaded the wisdom from the balsamic and new moon period, and then wishing from that to align with it from the ego mind consciously. So, some conscious ego mind alignments for you might have to do with wanting to be totally open to seeking outcomes that are good for everyone involved in the situation. You know, being totally open to identifying more with the needs and concerns of humanity, or wanting to face your fears of being more interested in the needs of others. These kinds of wishes. Now, you might also want to look at things that could be associated with avoiding excessive detachment. Sometimes we can live in loving detachment, accepting what is with love, and find ourselves cutting off our heart. Well, of course, since that's your supportive energy this lunar cycle, the Sheila Nagig open heart chakra card, this is a perfect time. Aquarius energy can be a little overly detached, and so the wishes that will support you in avoiding such excessive detachment might be, I want to face the fear of my being involvement with people in ways that serve me and the highest goods of others. I want a brilliant, inventive solution for my inflexible opinions or for my tendency to be cool and aloof around issues of humanity. Those kinds of wishes, Gemini moon sign people, will really plant the seed this lunar cycle going forward for there to be a greater ability to listen and to speak your truth in ways that truly connect with others. This will help heal whatever remaining vestiges of mama drama trauma keep you from feeling that level of attachment at this time in your life that will allow you to express your spirituality and live according to it in more meaningful ways in your physical material life. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you. And
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary. Hello, welcome to